don't know what we're supposed to say.
There is nothing in the universe that we could agree on.
Well, you got that right.
Okay, everybody, now let's give a nice, warm Winterfest welcome to the Santa Baby.
Now that is something we could agree on. I mean, that's got it going on up there. Look at that. You ready?
Yeah.
Well, you're a guy, right?
Yeah,
come on. Hey, is it getting hot out here, or is it just you girls? Oh, nice dip.
Wow! Ow! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Woo!
Hey, baby, who's your daddy? Yeah. Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Oh, God, I'm your daddy. I'm your daddy. I'm your daddy. Ah!
My eyes!
Oh, God!
My eyes! My eyes! My eyes!
We're going to hell.
You think I don't know that?
You know, for 1 second, I let myself think you were a normal guy, and this is what
You
happened.
blame me for this? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy?
The annual Winterfest speed skating races will begin in 5 minutes. Warning. This show is intended for a mature audience only and may contain harsh language, sexual references, and derogatory terms. Listener discretion is advised.
Well, if it isn't another episode of Terrible Tuesday Movie Night, the show. This is season 2, episode 7. I can't count to 7, apparently. Watching bad movies so you don't have to. I'm your host, Dale Campbell, and happy holidays on this random Tuesday in the middle of month. Yeah, a little peek behind the curtain on this one. This is our obligatory holiday episode. Not our obligatory. We've done holiday movies on this show before. Actually, in the former incarnation of this show, we did several holidays episodes on. We did, I think, a month of them. So we did, I think, 4 in a row. And we watched some awful content in that time. So today is no exception. Today's movie, Deck the Halls, is this season's obligatory holiday movie. I don't know, I thought it was a tradition that we would keep alive. Now, this is the rival holiday movie? Question mark? So we're going to do one of our favourite bits on this show, which is to play a very visual trailer. So enjoy this very visual trailer of 2006's rival / comedy. We'll get into my thoughts a little bit later on. Deck the Halls. Enjoy this very visual trailer on an audio podcast.
In the peaceful town of Cloverdale, Dr. Stephen Finch was Mr. Christmas.
This is a busy time of year, so we have to have a game plan. All must-sing caroling requests to be submitted in writing.
Until the competition moved in.
Who moves in the middle of the night?
I'm Buddy Hall. We just moved in across the street.
These are my babies. Can I live here? Daddy, come look.
You can see every house in the country from space.
Where's our house?
You can't see our house.
Just hoping that one day I'd do something big.
Buddy.
Around here, I'm the Christmas guy.
I don't think so.
Now they're going head to head
Watch and learn.
for the holidays.
That's gonna swell up.
But the holidays
Got the next 5 years of trees all lined up.
How'd you like to chop it down with my chainsaw?
might not be big enough
Does anyone smell gas?
for the both of them.
I guess I'm the new Christmas guy.
This isn't over yet.
You're gonna cut his power, aren't you? SpongeBob, this is SquarePants.
What?
He's coming! This is the best Christmas ever.
We're gonna settle this like men.
They're acting like a bunch of 12-year-olds.
You want lights? I'll give you lights.
Oh, gosh.
You sure you've been watering that thing? It went up awfully fast.
This November,
You're gonna stand here and you're gonna work it out.
Now that is something we could agree on.
Hey, baby, who's your daddy?
Dad?
Oh, God. I'm your daddy. I'm your daddy.
Regency Enterprises presents Danny DeVito,
I really want my house to be seen from space.
Matthew Broderick,
I like the way you've duct taped the antlers to their heads.
Apparently, reindeer are not indigenous to the region. Whoa! I didn't see that coming.
in the brightest Christmas story ever.
He's real! I knew it!
That could have ended badly.
Deck the halls.
Where are my clothes?
I had to get your body temperature up, so I zipped this into the sleeping bag. Trust me, it works.
Alright, that is the trailer for Deck the Halls. Now, we'll get into this a little bit later on. Now, there are a couple of facets to this movie that happen behind the scenes that actually makes this fascinating. But we'll get into that a little bit later on because it actually impacted what we saw on screen. We'll get to that in a moment. And I think one thing I will say before we get to the contractually obligated details that we are required by law to cover is that this movie didn't know what it wanted to be. It obviously wanted to be a holiday movie, but it didn't know if it wanted to be a comedy or a rival movie. And just off the bat, you can't have both because both is the result of whatever this movie was. We'll get to that in just a moment. The contractually obligated bits. This was released November 22nd, 2006. John Whitesell is the director. Matthew Broderick, obviously, plays Dr. Steve Finch. Terrible Tuesday movie night connections coming your way. Finally. Finally have some Terrible Tuesday movie night connections. We saw Matthew Broderick as uncredited Mr. Belton in New Year's Eve, which was another one of these movie. Well, New Year's Eve was a rom-com, but it was a compilation rom-com, I think, from memory. I forgot that movie as soon as I recorded that episode. Like most of my podcasting stuff, I just forget it once it leaves my mouth. Ooh, don't take that out of context. Danny DeVito as Buddy Hall. Terrible Tuesday movie night connection again. When in Rome, he played the character Al. So has a tendency of playing these movies. The rest, well, they're not Terrible Tuesday. No Terrible Tuesday movie night connections from here on. Christian Chenoweth plays Tina Hall. Houston Davis plays Kelly Finch. Alia Sasquatch plays Madison Finch. And Dylan Blue plays Carter Finch. Alright, the plot of this movie. The plot that I was given, it gives the movie kind of away. Optometrist Steve Finch, who loves Christmas traditions, has set up his family in his town. What? He has set up his family in his town. That's sure. He has established his family and his town. Oh, Lord. As such... What is this English? I didn't write this, by the way. I'm going to get on to my intern. Alright. As such, he has scheduled... What? This is in English. Alright, Dale. Keep it together. Optometrist Steve Finch, who loves Christmas tradition, has set up his family and his town. As such, he has a schedule of activities for them starting on December 1st, is the unofficial consultant for anything Christmas related in his town of Cleverdale, Massachusetts. I hate saying that word. Through the Christmas season, the Halls move in across the house from the street from Flinders. Flinches, first of all. Second of all, I'm just going to... This plot description is from wish.com, I swear. And they, in general, have a different outlook and temperament to the Finches. Sure. Unlike Steve, Buddy Hall scams his way through his life and never follows through with anything he starts. And that's it. That's the end of the plot description. Now, okay, let me lay out the formula of this and pretty much every holiday movie that I've seen previously. Okay, first of all, there's this man once upon a time, there was a man. Once upon a time, they're extinct now, but we still exist. Okay, so basically, I will re-summarize that Wish.com description. So, man in town has established his family in his town. I can't get over that line. So, man, nuclear family, wife and 2 kids, right? Great, someone just started playing music. We'll see if this comes through. It'll give me something to talk to. Okay, better than this movie. Let's start talking about the ambient music that I can hear from outside. Man, nuclear family, wife, 2 kids. Also, a person moves in the middle of the night, which, by the way, the comment of who moves in the middle of the night? Someone who travels. Obviously, they left their house wherever they came from, which it was never established where they came from, but they didn't come from anywhere that was in the same time zone, clearly, because they were traveling through the day, and they just happened to come in at midnight or whatever time it was. Also moves in, family, nuclear family, wife, 2 kids, blah, blah, blah. Horny teenager and other teenager that doesn't care, meets twins, yeah, blah, 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 whatever. And they're a bit quirky because they have to be, because that is the most interesting part of this movie. Then Buddy Hall is a car salesman, and his car salesmanship all over this car sales movie. And of course, the neighbor, the Finch, gets jealous that he is taking the territory of the Halls, and the Halls, well, they're just being moronic for no apparent reason, and they're being idiots to each other. And the movie doesn't necessarily, I think it gets resolved from their house being seen from outer space, because Addison Rae's blonde twin decides to look up what's clearly Google Earth, but doesn't necessarily, because they can't afford Google Earth. They say it's U-Planet or something. I can't even remember. I don't necessarily care. So, and of course, this is the only thing that apparently this guy has been able to connect with and hold on to for dear life. So, there's that, I guess. And, you know, and there are two types of movies. There's this movie, and then there's the classic boy meets girl rom-com movie. Now, both movies can be done right, except I don't know the rivalry between these two people. I don't necessarily understand, because, you know, it just isn't. I mean, it is necessary, but you don't get it. And this movie's, and I said this before at the beginning, under the First Impressions tab, this movie doesn't know what it wants to be. It doesn't necessarily want to stick to being comedy, nor does it want to stick to being a rival movie. So it kind of tiptoes between the line, and as it tiptoes between the line, it kind of just falls off the edge of both. And I get that they work together and they have to have a happy ending, because this is a holiday movie after all, in the middle of insert month here, which I'm not going to in post. Future Dale doesn't edit audio, he just edits videos, so we have no Future Dale, so I have to get this right. But the point is, they come to a resolution, but it's a resolution that isn't funny, so they've given up on the funny part, and just unnecessarily vulgar parts in this holiday movie for no apparent reason. Like, I get that the teenage boy, which I don't even think he's teenage age. How old would Carter be in this movie? He would be like 12, and he's obsessing over the blonde Addison Rae twins, Mary-Kate and Ashley. Yes, thanks, Brain. Massive Mary-Kate and Ashley vibes here. Huge. It's a great comparison, Brain. Well done, Brain. Kudos to you, Brain. Well done. Okay. In the meantime, so yeah, it just gets vulgar moments like that, and then them pseudo sleeping together in the back of Steve's wife's car to allegedly warm him up. They're both naked, laying in a sleeping bag. I suppose that's like bragging rights, I guess, but I'm not entirely comfortable with that scene. And, you know, hey, I've been known to be partially into that sort of thing. So, you know, I don't understand why. It's just, unnecessarily. And that's what I mean. Like, they tiptoed the line a few times, but they were too scared to jump. And you get really dumb comedy things, slapsticky style things like the fireworks and just dialogue in this movie. The movie kind of started... The whole plot point of this movie even starting was Buddy dropping a light bulb on the ground and then him quite literally having a light bulb moment when he goes and stands on it literally, I think, like the next day in his front garden. So definitely a plot device that is very unnecessary. Like, you could be into lights and passionate lights and don't have to stand on it to have this discovery of, oh, I want to be a jerk and beat the neighbors. Also, can I point out, before I get to the behind the scenes of why this movie was tragic, which we'll get to, and in more ways than one, I want to say for the record, Stephen Finch was complaining that he is being outdone with his Christmas lights and rah, 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 and all the rest of it. Not once did we see any lights on the exterior of the Finch's house at all. And that's a major problem, because he's like, oh, I'm being outdone. I'm Mr. Christmas. Oh, I can't have any of this. And not a single light on the exterior of the Finch's house. Sure, the interior is decorated, but that's not about public perception. You have this public perception of being the Christmas guy. Yes, you're in charge of the winter festival, and yes, you are an ice skater, I guess, because we have to have some unnecessary climax in this movie to resolve the car fiasco that happened, which the ultimatum is that the peace offering was this car that was a gift, but then turns out that he was going to jail if he didn't pay it by 12 midday, which seems excessive. But anyway, I'm jumping all over the place. The reason that this doesn't work for me is the fact that they could have... It would have been better if they played up Steve Finch's Christmas personality more, which I know he is compulsive about Christmas, but in the wrong ways. He's compulsive about Christmas within his family, and the only public persona is the fact that he, I believe, stood next to the Christmas tree and said, yeah, that looks good, and then literally nothing else to do with the town except for the winter festival. So, and, you know, hey, the whole dialogue about Buddy taking the Halloween, that would be cool if I was in charge of a major holiday like Halloween. I'm not huge on Halloween now that I'm back down under, but hey, I'm in America, in a small town of buttfuck nowhere, Massachusetts. Again, I hate saying that word. And you know, it's something to behold of. So there you go. Now, I was looking at the trivia section of this movie, and there are some disturbing items here. So, righto, here we go. Here's something. According to gossip, the main actors were unhappy on set, and oh boy, you can feel the tension between the actors. Which, by the way, Danny DeVito and what's his face, Matthew Broderick, little to zero chemistry. They were delivering lines, and it was so obvious that they were delivering lines with zero chemistry. Christian Chenoweth was still copying from her split from Aaron Sorkin. Demi DeVito flew in for a few scenes rather than to interact with everyone. He wasn't even on set the whole time. And Matthew Broderick could be found on the set shaking his head in disbelief and repeatedly saying, I've hit rock bottom. Christian Davis told her that she should have had her eggs frozen? What? Had her eggs frozen? Was she pregnant? Is that what that means? I'm not quite sure. Anyway, Matthew Broderick had to train real speed skater for a few months beforehand in the scene, the ice skating, the climactic quote-unquote scene. In a November 2006 interview with ABC's Live with Kelly and Ryan, Christian Davis confessed that she had been nervous being cast as the wife of Matthew Broderick, the real-life husband of close friend and Sex and the City co-star Sarah Jessica Parker. There you go. She said she received approval via email from Parker. Oof, that's bad. It's not even phone call worthy. I'm going to send you an email. Please find attached information package approval to be in this holiday movie. Oof. However, not before a rewrite of the script was added, what Davis termed to be a playful kissing scene between herself and Broderick. Oh yeah, there was lots of kissing in this movie. Apparently, according to Davis, in her opinion, the scene filmed was too steamy to keep it from a PG rating. It would have been cut from the final print. Ooh, they got it on while you were hearing jingle bells from the other side of the... This show is going to be on repeat for 4 a.m. Danny DeVito's house used LED lights to provide remarkable displays, not presentable with traditional Christmas lights. However, the lighting could only be done by special effect computers. So they weren't even real lights, hello? The lights from Boston-based Color Kinetics, formed a digital skin around Danny DeVito's house, acting like pixels on a TV screen. At one point, the roof of Danny DeVito's house turned into a live video display of Danny DeVito's face. Oh yeah, that's right. He was doing some weird stuff with some crackers and bonbons at some point. At maximum intensity, the 14,300 LED nodes used just 7,150 watts of electricity, the equivalent of 4 hairdryers. Okay, stop. And then they were playing it up. That's the one thing. I don't know how this would work in the modern age, or if it's just something to do with American infrastructure, but how... I don't know if I should say this out loud. I just had a thought. How does one... should I say this? I'll bleep it out if I think it's too much. How does one... how does that even work? Like, you can't even... Oh, no, there is. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna bleep that out. Oh, Dale, you're so stupid. Okay. Scrap that whole bit. Okay, I'm gonna have to edit that out. Alright. But still, they made this whole big point about how they ran these 4 hairdryers was tripping the power and they had to borrow electricity from their neighbors. That's the whole point of that sentence. Oh boy. Wrapping the house with the conventional exterior string lights would have used approximately 100,100 watts, 14 times more than the LED station, and without the capability of programming effects, the entire LED installation took a total of 126 amps, the equivalent of 1.3 average households. Okay, there you go. That's how they could equip that up. Conventional exterior string lights would have used the equivalent of 8 houses worth of power. Okay, Dale, just learn to read. The ice skating rink between Broderick and DeVito was filmed on the same street. Many of the scenes from Smallville was filmed. Interesting. Often filmed storefronts from Smallville, such as the Toulon and the Fordman department store, could be easily identified. The original title of this movie was called All Lit Up. Yeah, why is it called Deck the Halls? That's actually a very valid question. Is it the fact that literally... Oh, because their last name's Hall. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. That's why. I mean, other than that, it's called Deck the Halls because their last name is conveniently Hall, and like that's all there is literally to it. Oh, by the way, yeah, Matthew Broderick, who's the Christmas guy, actually Jewish. Just want to throw that out there. Was featured on the program. How did it get made? That's not interesting. Blah blah blah. That's not interesting either. This is the second film that Kristen Davis and Lachlan Munro both appear in. The first was Blacktop in 2000. Interesting. In the scene where Buddy's lights were on during the entire night, preventing the neighbors from sleeping, Steve's wife Kelly was actually wearing 2 sleep. Yeah, we can know that anyway. Danny DeVito's typecasting. He's also a car salesman in Matilda, which I haven't seen the new Matilda yet. I've seen the old one, and it's really good. And I read the book. Yeah, one of the few books that I managed to read. Okay. The parody of the 2002 Olympics. Yeah, there you go. Where they were parodying the fact that it's the old rabbit and hare trick. And we'll whoop. I don't know what's going on. My computer is being dumb. Okay, here we go. Yeah, the parody of the 2002 Olympics where everyone falls down and Australian Stephen Broderick came from last place to first place because everyone else fell down. We're kind of a bit of a slapsticky moment. I think overall this movie is fine. It's very, very average. I do want to get that Santa Baby remix at some point. It's just the fact that this movie, the problem I have with this movie is it's confused, I think, is more so than anything else. It's fine. It's just, it could have used with more comedy, I guess, or more rival. Like, it just didn't stick to what it wanted to be. Like, it was just there. It did drag on a little bit, and it's just didn't really grab me in any sort of way at all. Like, it was just fine. Is it below average? Nah, it's fine, I guess. And out of everything else that I have given this score to, it kind of fits in the category. Like, it's just, I mean, in comparison to movies like Hercules in New York, where it was just, Hercules in New York was also just a fine movie. This is also just a fine movie. It exists. Not something I would ever watch again. Maybe that's the criteria. Would I watch it again gets a pass, and would I not watch it again gets a fail. I don't know. I don't know. The 1 through 5 rating system is a 1 through 10 rating system rather is something that might be worth reviewing at some point. So, on that note, yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5. It's fine. It exists, and it doesn't hurt anyone. And it's the flaws I give it is the fact that it's finely produced. It's just lackluster writing and not necessarily knowing what it wants to be. So there you go. Bit of a shorter episode. That's what happens when you review a mediocre movie, I guess. It just doesn't hold any weight and doesn't make for an interesting conversation. It's fine. Other than the fact that you can tell that there was some tension on set between all the actors and the fact that Danny DeVito wasn't present half the time. You can tell. Yeah, they flew in for his scenes, which is pretty much 3/4 of the movie anyway. But yeah, anyway, it's fine. Mid 5. Thank you everyone for listening to Terrible Tuesday Movie Night. I will go through and bleep where necessary. You can support this and everything that I do over on my Patreon at patreon.com/Dale Campbell. I haven't started this yet, so things are going downhill fast. There you go. You can follow my many Instagram adventures over on my Instagram at the Dale Campbell. That's TheDaleCampbell. You can have some conversations and do some suggestions over in my Discord, bit.ly/Dale Discord, DALEDISCORD. And you can support Campbell D Productions by buying some merch. We've got some new collections over there that launched at the beginning of the year. bit.ly/Dale merch, bit.ly/DALEMERCH. CampbellDProductions@gmail.com for business inquiries and feedback are always welcome. Next week we got a big heavy hitter ticket item. The movie I've always wanted to watch. Ladies and gentlemen, Troll 2 is next week with a special guest. But until then, I've been Dale Campbell coming at ya, and we'll see you next week. Bye!
Now I'm craving things that I should crave.